In January 1899, Barnum and Bailey's Greatest Show on Earth was a few weeks into its second winter season in London when something extraordinary happened. The performers in the so-called freak show rebelled. In possibly the world's first case of political correctness, they called a meeting to protest at being known as the Freaks and to demand a new name. The move hit the headlines and caused a public sensation, but all was not as it appeared. On the morning of Friday, January 6th, Annie Jones, the bearded lady, called a meeting to protest at the use of the word freak. Annie Jones then outlined her objection to the word freak. To her, it meant something like fright, and if a beard made a lady a fright, then it must also apply to a man. No man possessing as fine as a beard as hers would call himself a fright, she added. The meeting went on to approve a strongly worded resolution.
That we, a majority of the living human curiosities at the Barnum and Bailey show, emphatically protest against the application of the word freak to us, and severely condemn its general assignment to those who, for their benefit or otherwise, were created differently from the human family, as the latter exists today, and that, in the opinion of many, some of us are really the development of a higher type and are superior persons, inasmuch some of us are gifted with extraordinary attributes, not apparent in ordinary beings.
The news of the revolt and suggestions that the freaks might even go on strike provoked a media frenzy across Britain. Articles were written on the final awakening of personal pride in abnormal species of the human race. On the afternoon of Sunday, January 15th, the freaks met again. Sol Stone, the lightning calculator, was in the chair, and Charles Tripp took notes holding a pen between his toes. Mr. Stone demanded to know why the rest of the entertainers in the show were called artists, while they were dubbed freaks. After a lengthy discussion, the word prodigies had been suggested, and was accepted. The prodigies were satisfied, and life returned to normal. The Greatest Show on Earth finished its winter season at the Olympia, before touring Britain throughout the summer. The following year it moved to Europe. But 4 years later, the word freaks had returned, and a similar protest meeting was called in New York, while the show was playing a season at Madison Square Gardens. The arguments put forward were strangely similar to those aired in London. Many journalists were suspicious, but they put their doubts to one side, and the story of the second freak revolt hit the headlines. Eventually, the truth emerged. The Washington Herald revealed the whole thing had been a massive publicity stunt. The man credited with dreaming it up was no other than Sol Stone, the lightning calculator. But the mastermind behind the whole thing was Richard F. Tody Hamilton, the long-serving and legendary press agent for Barnum and Bailey. Looks like Barnum and Bailey was still up to their old tricks of fooling the public, even if they had to sacrifice their own performers to do it. So there you have it, The Greatest Showman's biggest scandal, the truth behind the Freak Rebellion. If you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up, and for more, subscribe to Historic UK.